Hey, what's up, guys? I am Caleb Giddings.
I'm Keith.
And I am El Jefe.
No, you're Jack. Listen here.
Aww.
Just because your name in the Zoom meeting shows up as El Jefe doesn't mean you actually get to call yourself the boss.
Oh, that's how you say it. I've been saying GIF for so long.
No, it's Gefe. Listen, it's El Gefe. All right, guys. So Keith's going to wave his hands in the air.
Ta-da! Brought to you by.
And there, you just watched our sponsor banner. So right off the bat, this is our 1-year anniversary episode. And I thought about going back and doing a clip show episode with some of our favorite moments. And then I realized I was going to be the one who would have to edit that and harvest all that video. So I'm like, that's a dumb idea. So instead, we're going to talk
more.
Yeah, I know. So instead,
when we can just talk.
Pretty much. Why do that when we could just talk? In my head, like a clip show, they always make it look so effortless, you know, when like it's a very special episode of the Fresh Prince and it's just like clips from other ones. So this is going to be titled on a very special episode of Gunday Brunch, though. Do they even do that on TV shows these days? Because like that was the thing in the 90s.
They do it on a very particular kind of television show. The anime. That is still a thing that's done in that world.
Interesting.
Yes, the animation.
I do not watch enough of the animes to really track that. All right, but a couple of fun things. So this is our 1-year anniversary of doing the show. And I wanted to talk to you guys about what our most popular videos are based on views and downloads. So for audio only listeners, you guys, we're sort of an outlier in the podcast world in that most podcasts get a lot more traction from audio only. That's not the case for us, which is, you know, fine, but tell your friends to download us on their freaking iTunes apps or Apple Podcasts or whatever the hell it is you listen to audio files on. But
our entire listener base is like, nah, I can just open YouTube and close the window. It's fine.
Yeah, pretty much.
So go do something else.
Our most popular audio only episode is episode 30, Rittenhouse and Arbery, where we talk about the verdicts from, our most popular audio episode is Should Kyle Rittenhouse Go Free? Different one. So, but it is unsurprisingly a Rittenhouse episode. That shit was popping for quite some time. And our most popular video episode is Gunday Brunch number 34, the video that froze the internet, where we discuss the Grantham video where he freezes a bunch of guns and hurts everybody's feelings, which
especially M14 booze.
Especially M14 fans. Now, as a fun flip side of that, which our least popular video is number 14, ATF agents oppose what's his name, Chipman, which that was our least watched official Gunday Brunch episode with 540 views. So
apparently nobody gave a fuck about Chipman, not even people who didn't like him.
Right. The Grantham videos at pert near 50,000. So we've come a long way, girl. We've
started from the bottom. Now we're solidly above the bottom.
What? Assistant to the assistant regional manager. Yeah.
But so one of the things that we have talked about that we've addressed in past episodes is, and you know, because it's been going on since before we even started, is the ammunition crisis, which started with COVID and was I'm exasperated by my inability to say exacerbated.
It's all
you can't do that on camera. Stop exaggerating.
You can if you
not
look
on this
for
channel.
CNN.
Not on this channel. Gunday only fan. Only brunch.
Oh my lord.
Only brunch.
So anyway, ammo crisis. The real quick background that everybody's heard 1,000 times by now was started by the pandemic, by people buying up ammo, made worse by the civil unrest, made then worse by 8 million new gun owners entering the market in 2020, made then worse by 5 million new gun owners entering the market in 2021, made additionally worse by the economic issues that we're having with the supply chains. And we're now in the middle of 2022. And I do have some good news about the ammo crisis, is that stocking levels have returned to pre-pandemic availability. Mostly.
You can find ammo.
Yeah.
You can find it.
Which is the good news.
Yeah.
When you can't find it, there's a problem. When you can find it, but it's a little too expensive for you, suck it up, eat some ramen, buy the ammo, because it's not changing.
No. And to answer probably the number one question that I've gotten over the amount of time that I've spent researching this issue, writing about this issue, talking about the issue, which is, when is ammo going to go back to pre-2019 prices? My answer to that I've had a moving target. When we first started forecasting this, I said it'd be probably in about 2 years. Well, it's been about 2 years. It hasn't gone back to those prices yet. And now my answer to that is probably never.
We might see what would equate to good prices for today. I think we might see, if we're lucky,
I see good prices for what today is. Like,
yeah,
I see us maybe saving another 10% or 15% over what we see today, when things truly calm down and we see supplies start chilling for a while, so the prices start to come down a little bit. But until the supply actually sits static, we're not going to see the prices come down significantly.
No, we're really not.
Let's not forget,
it's not right now.
There are new ammo production centers being built as we speak.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody that tells you that they know what the market's going to do in 5 years is crazy. In 5 years, I know at least one production center that I'm aware of will be completed, possibly two. And that's the continental United States.
Isn't Fiocchi spinning one? Is it Fiocchi? I think it's Fiocchi that's spinning one up domestically in like Alabama saws or something.
Yeah.
One of those A states that's not
And
Alaska.
another one's being done in Arizona. And
I've heard of one
Nevada.
in Wisconsin and another in South Carolina too.
So now all of these could run into a myriad of different issues. Just because you hear about a production center doesn't mean it'll fully realize yet. People run out of money for projects don't finish. There's a whole bunch of issues. All that aside, we're still looking at good stuff here.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. One of the biggest problems that any ammo company is facing right now, unless that ammo company manufactures them in-house, is primers. Primers, and here's the thing, guys, primers are going to continue to be a problem. If you reload, primers are going to, I'm not necessarily going to say stop, but what I am going to say is, if you reload, you're not allowed to bitch about the cost of primers anymore, because that's just what they are, right? Just like a case of 9mm is now no longer $2 for $200 for American Eagle. It's, $400 for American Eagle or whatever. A case of primers are going to cost more. And the reason primers are going to cost more is, domestically, there's only 3 companies that manufacture primers, which means they have to supply a lot of that secondary ammo manufacturing market. Now, one of the companies that is spooling up in-house more production is Ammo Inc. And they've said, I did an interview with their CEO for a different project. They've said they intend on getting into the primer production business. God, I hope so, because that's what a lot of people don't understand is primer production is actually the hardest part of ammunition production. It's the most dangerous. Has the most potential for things to explode. Like those ammo plants in Russia that just blow up all the time. It's because they not the ones that are getting hit with drone strikes, the ones that are getting blown up.
Not the ones that actually get shot at, the ones that just would never pass OSHA.
Yeah. Oh, good Lord.
The quality control ones.
And also, if you were a guy that thought because you bought an AK, your ammunition was going to be cheap forever, terrible news for you. The world changes.
You hella dumb. Hopefully you can still get your hands on some
it's going to cost you what it costs the rest of us for the nice brass stuff now, buddy. Like 50 cents all day, every caliber.
Hopefully you can get some of that cheap Polish ammo that's still floating around out there, but prob's not. So the good news on ammo, and like if you guys want to test this theory out, I encourage you to go visit our friends at luckygunner.com, who are not a show sponsor but are also good dudes. And you can now, like, they might not have some stock of like super weird stuff, like they've only got 2 SKUs available of 32 ACP, but if you go to 9mm, I can get Hydra-Shocks, I can get Fiocchi, I can get Winchester, I can get Federal in 3 different grain weights, I can get S&B in a couple of different grain weights. All right, it's back.
And another indication, if you guys are on emailing lists for any of the major manufacturers, you're going to see ammo in those emails again. Like they're advertising 9, they're advertising 223, and still 7.62 by 39. Even steel case stuff is still being advertised because it's still here. It's still on the shelf. You can get it. It's around. It's just more than it was. So your trip to go take a 2-day class, which would have run you $1,500 for the trip, the class, and the ammo, is going to be closer to $2,000. Prices have gone up. So,
but Keith, I don't want to pay 50 cents around for 9mm.
Okay,
then don't shoot.
I didn't want to put on pants this morning.
Don't cry.
Common decency laws.
Okay, but have you left your house today, Jack?
Yeah, I have.
Oh, okay. That's why you put pants on.
I only have like a really fancy coffee maker, and I don't know how to use it, so I just go to Starbucks. It's my roommate's coffee maker. It's a French press thing. I can't even.
French press is the easiest coffee maker ever. You put the coffee in, you put the water in, and then you wait 5 minutes, and you go. Shh.
Yeah, no, I don't have that.
Pour coffee. It's like a small bait. I've seen restaurant servers with that orders managed to successfully use a French press.
Mine is button wait, like
I don't even like
apply water button wait.
All right, so here's hand to God, I've been drinking coffee, cold brewed coffee, since my dad's been drinking it since the 1970s. All right. But how he does it, and so we're going to do a quick coffee sidebar here. So how you actually make a cold brew
brought to you by our caffeine addictions.
So we should talk. So how you actually make a cold brew coffee is you take like an entire bag or a pound of coffee grounds, right? You put them in this thing, and the filter, and it's like a 1/2 inch thick, and it's about this big around. If you're not watching, this big around is like 3 inches, right? So the filter goes in the bottom, you put the grounds in, you soak them in water. They sit overnight, maybe up to 24 hours. Jack is texting.
I'm ordering a coffee on an app, and it'll be ready for me when I'm done with this, and I'm going to go pick it up.
So hang on. So
order previous.
Then you drain the concentrate out of that, and that goes in your fridge. And anytime you want a cup of coffee, you take the concentrate, you put like a shot or 2 of it in your glass. You can add ice and milk and water or whatever, or you can do what I've done since I was a kid and add boiling water, which is how you can create a sentence that I once used to make a barista's head explode. Can I get a hot cold brew? What? the brewing process for the coffee is cold, yes, but if you add hot water to it instead of milk and ice, it then becomes hot coffee. We can't do that. I'm like, no. Take the cold brew concentrate that I see right there, put a shot of it in, then add hot water. It's like a ghetto Americano.
I want to explain something to you. That is so dumb. This is the hot cold brew. Slightly dumber than that are magnetic car holsters.
Yeah,
this is such a complicated way to get to hot coffee.
It's not a complicated way to get to hot coffee. I have a jar of concentrate in my fridge. I put an ounce of it in my cup. I add boiling water. It's like instant coffee, but it tastes good.
Your methodology to get to this are just like the people trying to tell me that ammunition was held back by the government to make sure we could.
I will come to your house and I will fucking force feed this shit to you. You don't live that far from me.
That was the dumbest conspiracy.
I'm going to be down that way
God.
in June. Let's make this happen.
Can I just say that of all the dumb conspiracy theories I heard, the government is buying all the ammo before I can buy it is
and
so
like putting it in a bunker or something.
Yeah, like they just have a warehouse right next to the Ark of the Covenant, like guarded by top men. That all the ammo is just
men.
chilling. Top men.
They're like, buy up
That's
all the
where
22 250.
That's where all the ammo is, especially all the calibers the government has never used.
Purchase all the 7mm Win Mag possible.
And that was the crazy thing. If they had, if the conspiracy theory had only been like, well, it's hard to find 9 and 5.56 because the government needs to stock that up, I would be like, okay, you're wrong still, but at least that's plausible. But when they extended the conspiracy theory, like, well, you can't find 38 because of the government, I'm like, what? Other than the Smithsonian Police Department, which still carries 38s, fun fact about that. Who the fuck who in the government is buying 38 special? No. And then obviously 220, 22 250 Swift and like 7mm Winchester.
I can't find my 17 HMR thanks to the government.
Yeah.
Let's be real. You know who bought that? People.
Yeah. People.
Everyday folk.
It was Jason
13
Vanderbrink.
million
He's
new gun owners, guys. 13 million of them.
And that's something
That's a lot of ammo.
Oh god, yeah. It's so much ammo. Like the federal released that video last year, which people got very mad in the comment sections about, where the CEO of the federal explained it. And he's like, look, 8 million new gun owners. If each one of them just goes out and buys 100 rounds of ammo, that's, hang on, let me do math. 8.
I'm gonna let him do this math and realize.
Look, I am not about to get this wrong on air. All right. It's 800 million rounds. It's 800 million more rounds, as near as.
But that's the average number of rounds fired by an XD owner in the course of a year or two of ownership.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely true, and without issues.
Never an issue.
And
never an issue.
800
million.
To put that in perspective, let's just round that number up to like a clean billion, right? Say some people bought 150 rounds.
25% of people bought an extra box.
Yeah. So you round that number up to a clean billion. That represents 1/8 of the domestic ammo sold just to consumers in 2018. We sold 8 billion rounds of ammo in 2018 just to the consumer market. So if you suddenly increase that demand by
I love this country. I love this country so much.
Right? We sold 8 billion rounds of ammo.
8 billion rounds of ammo.
In 1 year. And then in 2022, and then in 2020, we were like, make it rain bullets.
There's so much. That is the most American statement possible. That is like the Japanese view on Texas levels of American right there.
It really is. Be the American the Japanese think you are.
Yes.
That'll be our first shirt.
Yeah, no, 8 billion rounds of ammo was 2018. So
that would be just giving all the new gun owners a very modest amount of ammunition. 2 or 3 boxes. That doesn't account for everything that everyone else was already buying. And then everybody was like, oh crap, ammo prices are going up. I better buy more and strain the system further. So yeah, I would love to see how much was sold in 2019, 2020, and 2021. I want to see that spike.
I know for a fact that we depleted many ammo manufacturers, like the whole supply chain.
It was gone,
wiped out, from retailer all the way back to like federally shoving ammo into trucks.
While they weren't able to work.
Oh yeah, while they weren't able to work full time because of the Rona.
So you got one guy who's running the socially distanced forklift, and he'd like, this would be bad if I had anything to ship.
Yeah, just driving there. Hey,
big shout out to our forklift certified listeners. You guys are real heroes.
They don't know they're in the presence of a trained forklift operator.
You guys held this country together.
I once exploded a forklift. No, I didn't do it. I wasn't there. Interestingly, the shop I was running was receiving an ammo shipment. I was driving to a match, and I get a phone call that my forklift's hydraulic line has exploded all over the loading dock and it's just stopped. And I'm like,
what do you want me to do about that?
Yeah, I'm 400 miles away, homie. I'm not turning around. Like,
I'm glad to know it. It's good information.
Thank you.
Yeah, push that shit inside and shut the door. I don't know. I don't got an answer for you.
Put the wet floor slippery sign down and don't touch it.
Next question. But you guys got all the ammo in, right? Like that shit's on the shelves. Oh, goodness gracious. So yeah, ammo was not, it's not coming. It's okay. Ammo is back. Like it's fully back. You can go to whomever your favorite retailer is and get, like I only shoot, for example, let's pick like an odd round. Federal 62 grain Fusion 5223. That is the only, and I can immediately go to we'll use Ammo Seek for this. Yeah, it's all over the place.
So you can even find your oddball or your game rounds, stuff that's limited run, that's limited production, because they'll only do a couple of runs per year because the bulk of what they're going to build out is always going to be ball ammo. It's always going to be the mass production FMJ stuff. So so if you can find your limited production hunting stuff, we're in a good spot for supply. Yeah, might not be in a good spot for prices, but we're in a pretty good spot for supply.
Yeah, we're not gonna. Now, what's interesting, pardon me, is that some stuff hasn't fluctuated as much in price. Like, so for example, these Federal Fusion rounds that I'm looking at, they're 62 grain with a jacketed soft tip. It's a 223 round. It's very accurate. It's a round that's marketed for hunting, but would also work very well on, things that you don't hunt.
Things that might walk on 2 legs instead of 4.
Yeah, weird. It's
almost like 150-pound animal is a 150-pound animal.
So before the panini, it was like $30 a box, and now it's like $36 a box. So yeah. I'm fine with that. It's the stuff that really hurts people in the wallet and the butt is the fact that a case of 124 grain 9 mil FMJ is $400 now
instead of $199. Like, guys, when we were living in the $189, $199 days of 9mm and the $229 days of 5.56, 223,
2020. You would have punched someone for $400 case of 9 mil.
Yes,
that's a fact. That's a fact.
Like you would have knocked a grandmother over to get your credit card out and run it through that machine. And now that it's here, you don't feel the urge quite as bad. I get that. But if you're about this and you're about shooting, it's suck it up time. I'm sorry. Like, I'm not saying it's the way I want it to be. I don't make any money off ammunition. I should change that. I should make money off ammunition. But
yeah, you should. What you doing?
we should fix that.
But it is the circumstances in which we find ourselves in. And you're welcome to complain, just no one's going to listen.
I will say that I've got like 200 rounds of Federal Flight Control double-aught buck 8 pellet that I bought before the panini that I thought about selling to pay for my kids' college education.
Yeah, that stuff. A good buddy of Jack and mine who lives up in this area had so much of that. And during the good times, he was sitting on it like, man, I have so much, I'm never going to shoot all this. What am I going to do? And then we got into the bad times and he's like, so that's what it looks like when a stock goes viral. Jeez.
What's your favorite?
Never mind. Okay. I'll ask later. Okay.
What's your favorite memory? Like, what's your favorite, like, absolutely wasteful thing you did with ammo pre-pandemic? Because I dumped the trash. So okay. I'll go first. So mine is so aggressive. I took the Winchester PDX-1 Defender rounds, right? They're premium elite self-defense ammo. I shot 2 8-stage steel challenge matches using that as my just match ammo. These weren't sanctioned matches where I needed the extra quality control that you get in defensive ammo or anything like that. These were fucking club matches that I just showed up to, and I had a trunk full of these in my car and was like, yeah, just use the PDX ones, whatever. I don't care. These are not that expensive.
It's cheap enough. Here we go.
Because at the time, for a 25 round box, they were like $15. So I was like, whatevs. We'll shoot these at some matches. They were great match ammo, by the way, super reliable, very accurate. But yeah, when I look back on shooting almost 500 rounds of ammo that now costs like $1.50 a round just for shits and giggles at Steel Challenge, I'm like, that was pretty opulent.
All right. I've shot a few machine guns until they fell apart. As part of like company activities, things that we were just doing, which does not take as long as you would think. A machine gun goes to tatters pretty fast.
Yeah, if you keep running it, they're not as durable as you think.
I took a multi-day carbine class that only shot Mark 262 Mod 1. It was not a low round count. I got a bunch of ammunition from an estate situation. I'm not real. All right. So one, at the time, I was not very smart. I did not learn what I had until much later. And there was a bunch of ammo in the state that I got. And I was like, well, I don't want to shoot up this green tip ammo because that's good armor piercing ammo. It's not. It's
no.
Not even really good barrier blind ammo. So I guess I'll shoot these hollow points because I was told hollow points don't function well in rifles. When you can find it, it's $1 a round plus.
Yeah, good old 77 grade.
Hold up. I found some of it on Gunbroker. I found a 100-round pack of 77 grain OTM Mark 262 Mod 1. It's all right. Let's do a little prices right action. Closest without going over. 100-round pack. Jack, what do you think?
$200.
Keith?
Say 201, I'll punch you. I swear to God.
Straight through the video stream. God, I was considering it. But he knows the price. So let's go 239.
Jack gets it. It's 205 right now.
Oh, would have worked.
All right, so shoot.
I was going to say 209, which originally would have, but I'm like, all right, I'll give Jack more of a spread.
I don't want to get
and
punched.
How dumb this can get. It was realistic.
All right, so Keith, what's your opulent pre-pandemic ammo story?
I don't have the ability to beat Jack's Mark 262 Mod 1. These crappy bullets. I'll go over to green tip, but we as a company, back when Brownell introduced the giant drum of ammo, we bought one of those. Actually, we bought two of those because we got one of M855 ball and then we got one of M8308 ball just because we're like, mix it up. It's a great price per round on ammo. And it was back in the day because the 308 ended up being about 44 cents a shot. And the M855 was like 24 cents a shot. We'll never see those again. And then we were just scooping into it whenever we had literally anything to do, like, yep, more green tip, yep, more green tip, yep, more green tip. And now we're looking at these depleted barrels, not empty, but depleted, significantly lower, and going, do you know how much money we could have split this up and flipped this for today? Oh.
Well, I do have one, not necessarily a one-over story, but just to let you guys know, if it's a good thing that the military doesn't have to pay commercial prices for ammo, because we just wrapped up my unit's annual machine gun qual, where we expended 35,200 rounds of 1 in 4 7.62 ball and tracer. Imagine paying for 35,000 rounds of 1-in-4 ball and tracer in this fucking market.
Yeah, that'll just write the $60,000 check because it also has to be linked. So
yeah.
I mean, I guess that's kind of the thing is like when you shoot a lot as a civilian, you feel cool, but you will never understand opening connexes of ammo.
Right?
Like I remember getting involved in a deal where we were talking about like 1,000,005 rounds. And when I saw how little that looked like, I was like, my calculation is off.
When you have to, I before I went back into the military, and specifically before I became a firearms instructor in the military, I thought I shot a lot in a year. And then I had to start managing our machine gun quals, which God. when you have to get someone else to help you break down ammo crates because your hands are getting a blister from the multi-tool that you're using to break the crates, you're like, I need some help. There's 78 more crates, guys. We filled up an entire LMTV. If you guys don't know what an LMTV is, go Google it. All right.
It's a really big truck that can fit a lot of stuff inside.
It's full of ammo, and it's so yeah. But and every time I do that, every time I shoot the Air Force's stupid 1,600 round M240 qual, I think this is what my taxpayer dollars are going towards, and I am okay with that. So guys, next time you're mad about paying taxes, just think that you're paying for all of my machine gun ammo.
It still doesn't make me happy about that. That's
because you could be buying machine gun ammo for you.
I should be allowed to come and shoot some of those machine guns. That's my argument.
Dude, I would love to do that. Like, no joke. I would love to have like a public day where we just like invite some, random people out to the range. We're like, hey, your tax dollars paid for this ammo, so you want to rip like a belt through this 249? Okay, knock your socks off.
Go for it, man. Here you go. 50 rounds.
Nothing is better in this world, and I've stumbled into it so many times, and I'm always happy and always surprised as, hey, man, do you want to shoot our machine gun? We need to get rid of some ammo.
Oh, it's so great. Getting rid of the ammo.
You don't hear that anymore, especially on the civilian side. On the military side, it's an ease of accountability type thing. Like it's much easier to turn in expended brass than it is to try and give some ammo back. That's a giant headache.
Logistically. Such a pain in the dick.
It's such a pain. So hey man, come rip a belt of ammo is really common in the military. We're not going to hear that for a long time on the civilian side of things.
No,
it's going to be all right. Do you want to come out to demo these guns? Here's your 5 rounds.
Oh my God, that is such a different world now.
I will say when I went to an event with Sig, and they brought all of their own ammo, and they just kept telling me, they're like, hey, we brought it all, we don't want to bring it back, shoot more. And I'm like, what? You guys know it's 2022, right? And the guy says, yeah, I also don't care who else shows up after you because you're my friend and I wanted you to shoot this gun, so you shoot as much as you want. Somebody else doesn't get some later. I'm like, okay.
Yay. I just went out to a SIG event, and that was it was set up kind of like a state fair or carnival. You could get elephant ears. They were good. They were really good. But
elephant ears are funnel cake,
and you hopped. It was
Which is better, elephant ears or funnel cake or churros? We're gonna go big 3.
Ooh,
I'm churros all day long. I'll fight people about a good churro.
I'm a funnel cake man. I gotta go funnel cake.
Gotta go elephant ear.
All right, well, that's our question in the comments, guys. Tell us what you think is better, churros, elephant ears, or funnel cake. If you say churros, you're definitely from the American Southwest somewhere. Like, there's no question. And also maybe immigration is coming to your house. But
we gotta stop doing these rendition jokes.
All right. So anyway, Keith, the SIG event. Sorry.
All right. So SIG event, we were out there, and there were probably about 4,000 people out there for the weekend. But yeah, it was just like hop in line, go shoot, hop in the next line, go shoot, hop in the next line. And they definitely had the ammo for it. So it was out there, and they were spending to bring it out there. Now, the general public, you paid to get in. It was $80 a ticket to get in. But if you, and originally I was kind of salty about that. Like, who's going to come out to that? Turns out 4,000 people are going to come out to that, which I think was their cap for the weekend, or close to their cap for the weekend, because they didn't want too many people waiting in too many lines in 100-degree weather in the Arizona desert. So you're just hopping in lines, going and shooting. And then I just real quick thought about the price versus how many times you could get into whatever lines you wanted to shoot. Like, you want to shoot the MCX Spear 10 times, you can get in that line 10 times. You want to go down the
Why would you want to shoot the MCX Spear more than once?
I don't know. But you could hop around wherever you wanted. And what it broke down to, it was the same as you would go into like any indoor range and spend that $10 to demo a pistol, and they'll give you some ammo for it. It was $8. It was $8 per gun you wanted to shoot, which really, depending on the gun you wanted to shoot, was either right around what the ammo would have cost or less than what the ammo would have cost to put through the gun, depending on what you were shooting. So it was kind of cool.
Jack, is there anything worse than going to like media day at SHOT and going up to the booth of some gun that you're genuinely curious about, and they hand you a 5-round magazine, and then when you ask for more, they're like, sorry?
Yes, there's one thing worse than that, and that's having to go to media day.
Okay, 100% agree, without caveat that
I want to be clear here. I want to be clear here in case someone hears this and they think I'm ragging on it. I think media day is very important. I think the guys who put it on do a great job at running a very safe range, which is shocking for the number of people that are on it, especially gun writers who are a notoriously unsafe bunch.
The worst.
They do a great job. They put on a fantastic event. It's great.
I don't like go to it.
I don't like doing it. I don't like. It's very hilly out there. I just got off a plane. The air isn't what I'm used to.
It's also always dry, windy, and 45 degrees.
Yeah,
and with the space that they give the guys, especially anybody who's got the hot new item then, there's never enough space to get everybody in there, especially if you're dragging around a camera crew or anything like that, which all the media guys are. Any of the bigger media guys have rolling in with 5 extra dudes and mics and cameras and everything like that. And that you have to clear the whole range to have them do their thing so they can put their YouTube video up and all of that.
Which is an important part of all that.
I really do get it. That has to happen, but it's a lot and there's not a lot of space to do it. So it's not like you can take it and make a media lane for the hot new gun and then everybody who just wants to shoot it so they can talk about it, in a post real quick later. There's no space to separate that stuff. So you've got guy with the camera and his crew doing his thing, which might take 20 minutes to do it the right way. And then you have everybody else is still waiting just because there's not the space out there.
I do have to give a shout out.
Go ahead. Well, I was going to say there's a bomb Jack in the Box right before you get to the range.
Mm-hmm. I was going to talk about an industry thing, and Jack's like, yeah, but
so on the way to the media day range, if you've been there, but right before you make that right in town, there's a Jack in the Box right there to your right. Go ahead and stop in there, get yourself something to eat. You don't need to get there right away. Just pro tip.
And that's also because the food at media day is actually universally pretty crappy.
And expensive.
I do want to shout out 2 events that I went to recently that were trying to copy the end result of media day, but in a cleaner sort of way. So I went to it was called, I want to say it was called the Firearms Industry Trade Days or something like that. It was sponsored by POMA, the Professional Outdoors Media Association. It was in Talladega, which is nice because it's an easy drive for me from where I live. And that was a pretty squared away event. It was like media day, but because they used the CMP Marksmanship Park in Talladega, if you've never been, it's one of the nicest facilities on the planet for this sort of thing. And each vendor kind of had their own bay, so it was broken out a little bit easier. And then the second event that I went to that was very similar to that was called The Gathering by Palmetto State Armory. Media gets in free, Gen Pop has to pay, but the day before Gen Pop can get in is when media can go and do everything. And all of the different vendors have like a different bay, like an action pistol style bay. So you're broken off from a lot of that sound and stuff that you get. So both of those events, very, very well done. I'm not getting paid to recommend them or anything like that. It was just very nice for me as a media guy to be able to go in, see what I was there to see, because there's a lot of stuff that I wasn't there to see, but be able to go in, hit the things that I wanted to hit, and then dip out within 4 or 5 hours versus having to spend all day waiting around for, some I was going to say something mean about YouTubers, but just waiting around for somebody to finish filming their bit that, when all I need to do is like a thing. So yeah, no, those were really great. Really great. And
Freedom Days with Sig was exactly like that too. They used the Ben Avery shooting facility out there in Phoenix, and they had range. That is a really nice range. And the general ranges that are normally open to the public were still open to the public. They shut down a portion of the range that was in the back, with just a bunch of different bays. So the whole event, there weren't a bunch of people on top of each other. Lines weren't excessive. I mean, it was hot. It's Phoenix and it was 100 degrees, but it was very well paced. You could shoot what you wanted to, and you were never waiting more than about 10 or 15 minutes to shoot even the most popular things out there. And then you'd go hop in another line, wait another 5-10 minutes, shoot the next thing you wanted to shoot. They had a couple of cool new 10 mils out there. I actually got to go shoot the XM5 and the XM250. Those are neat. So cool.
I'm sure the XM250 is neat because machine guns are cool. I'm so not interested in the XM5 whatsoever. Also, people, please stop asking me.
Turns out the XM5 shoots like a rifle.
Well, no. What?
I like a do the cha-cha.
I like a do the cha. But the XM250, that thing is sweet. That's worth all the things that the XM5 doesn't do better than other rifles that also do rifle things. The XM250 is worth it all.
I mean, look, if it's lighter than a 240, I'm in. All right. Friggin'
lighter than a 249 by 5 pounds.
Does it run?
Yes.
Because, okay, let me rephrase that. Will it run after it's been indifferently maintained by Joe's for 4 years and shot thousands and thousands around for qualifications and then kind of tossed wet and sloppy back into a rack?
Maybe.
I guess we're going to find out.
But enough about my ex.
But this thing had been beaten up all day for 3 days, and these were demo guns that had been to the Army and then come back. So the Army beat them up, then they gave them back to Sig, and Sig was like, these two will do, and brought them to the range, and they got shot hot and nasty for 3 days by the time I got behind the 250, and that one ran fine.
Oh, Lord. All right. So we've established that Jack's ex likes it hot and nasty. That ammo prices aren't, and we'll kind of put a bow on this, our 100th episode, our 1 year episode. For our 100th episode,
that's
our 100th
52,
episode,
Caleb.
we are going to launch an OnlyFans. It's just going to be real close-up shots of Jack's beard. That's it. That is it. All right. So to put a cap on this, obviously all of us, yearn for the days of cheap milsurp ammo and cheap ammo in general, but it's not. Prices are going to start coming down because we've hit a point where people are looking at a $400 case of 9mm and going, that can wait.
I'll wait till it hits 380. It'll be fine.
Exactly. So you're going to start to see prices start to drop off, but not anytime, not in a hugely significant amount, not really major numbers either, because Vista is taking price increases still on components. MagTech, the big ones like your Vistas, your S&Bs, your MagTechs, your Winchesters are still taking price increases on components. So what you may start to see is the retailers also being a little bit less interested in stocking massive amounts of ammo that's not moving anymore. So, hey guys, guess what? Supply and demand still works. Like
it's a universal law.
It's almost like what we've been saying for 2 years about this is that it'll reach a point where inventory is back to normal, prices aren't back to normal, people will start to get hesitant, and prices will start to come down. That being said,
you're going to see it
hold your
chip
breath.
down in $5 here, $10 here, a sale for the weekend. That's how we're going to see it slowly deflate like a flan in a cupboard.
It has really already come down for it, and compared to where ammo was at like the height of the panorama, like when I was paying $1.20 a round for revolver ammo, which is now down to like 50 cents a round, it has come down. Good Lord, Jack, what just lit your face up?
I clicked the wrong button and it went to the wrong screen, which had a white back. So naturally, all of my stuff is on night mode.
Of course.
Because watch, it's, that's a much more pleasant thing. And I clicked on the Zoom one, and the Zoom background for the page is white, so it just like blooms and like
it was a huge
my eyes.
The beacons are lit. The Zoom meeting is done.
So, you know what? On that note, the Zoom meeting is done. Jack, any final thoughts?
What is expensive now will cost you everything when you actually need it.
Ooh. Deep from our little warrior monk over there. Keith?
Go buy ammo. Keep shooting.
Buy ammo, keep shooting. Hell yeah. All right, guys, that's it for the 1-year anniversary episode of Gunday Brunch. Thank you, everyone. I do want to take a moment and say thank you to everyone for listening to us for years. Again, I'm always up in the stats.
Just the 1 year, really.
Listen, I'm
years. It's years after this. We're technically correct, which is the best kind.
Yeah. So anyway, thank you to everyone who has been listening to us for the last year, Jack. You haven't been here the fucking year. Why don't you get snippy with me? But seriously, like I've been in the stats every week since we started the show, and it's been really gratifying to watch the numbers continually move up in an organic way. We've gone from 1,500 downloads an episode to 40,000, and that's been really great to watch. You guys are sending us memes now. Shout out to the Google Podcasts guy who's still out there.
What?
Google Podcast guy.
And I'm sure that
I really want to. By the way, I want to have the Google Podcast guy on here.
Hell yes.
I told you who it is, right? I figured it out.
You didn't tell me who it is. You just told me you figured it out.
Okay.
And we're not going to out him on the air because I'm going to close with this. First off, like, share, subscribe, enjoy the videos that are being recommended on either side of Keith's head right now. But the one that I did see a really, really weird analytic is that like 4 people use an RSS feed. So how podcasts work, guys, is your podcast app scrapes our RSS feed, and that's how it shows up in Apple Podcasts and Spotify and all of that. 4 people started scraping our raw RSS feed and just downloading the MP3 straight to their computers. You guys are fucking wild. You guys are serial killers and have a statue of Jack in your basement.
I have a funny story about that,
which we'll talk about off air. Thank you very much
off air
for listening, guys. We'll be back next week.